Is this the way we're going to work?
It is a way I think we can work. There are some drawbacks, but one of the things I was able to really do with this week in this is actually do some work. But of course, there's the drawback of how long you're going to wear this for, right? You sit at your laptop all day, you literally all day. This weighs on your head all day.
There's an endurance question here. How long have you worn it?
Wore them pretty much consistently for some 6 to 8 hour stretches.
And headaches? No?
Headaches, eye burning, a little bit of neck pain.
Are they meant to wear 24 hours a day?
Absolutely not. These are meant to wear for a couple of hours at a time, if you can even go that long.
But for $3,500, right? Who's going to buy them and for what reason?
As I said in my review, I think this is a Apple diehard product right now. These are for the diehards. They're for the app developers. It's for somebody who wants to see a peek at what this future looks like.
So you guys are going to begin to see on street corners all across America, folks gyrating their limbs with a new addiction to an Apple product called Apple Vision Pro. Guys, this is very interesting, and I'm just going to come right out and tell you that last night I pulled the trigger and I bought one of these. Probably going to be one of the biggest wastes of money I've ever made in my life. But I want to understand the product, and I thought that it would be entertaining for you guys, entertaining for myself. I'm going to attempt to see if this can be day traded in. If I can day trade in the morning with this, if I see any advantage, maybe I can quickly make back my money. If it's worth its weight in gold, we shall see. I'm going to break down Apple and Tesla, a couple big techs, just like that guy driving down the street in his cyber truck with his Apple Vision Pro goggles on. We're going to do a combo video on the two of those, and I'm going to cover some cryptos. In particular, I was asked in a recent video, which of my top 10 have I dropped? Well, I'm going to give you guys 2 that I've dropped and I've moved on from. I'm going to give you a brief explanation why. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for hitting the like. Hit the subscribe if you want to get help trading these choppy markets. And guys, I'm just going to tell you right now that they're going to get choppier. We're going to definitely be going into a more volatile time in the marketplace because we've made highs, and here's the 4 cycles of all stock. I want you guys to know this. I've shared this on this page I don't know how many times, but you've got basically a sideways consolidation or accumulation phase that leads into an explosive markup phase, right? And then eventually you get into what's called a distribution phase, and then eventually you get what's called a decline phase. 2022 was a decline phase, but 2023 was a massive markup phase. And so right now it appears to me that we are likely going to go into a distribution phase, and the characteristics of distribution is a very wide price range, which means that we're not moving in a tight price range. It means that we can drop, turn right around, come back up $10, 10% on big tech easily. And that's exactly what happened to Apple stock. When we got to earnings, unlike some of the other big tech stocks, it wasn't gapping up. After earnings were a little bit of a disappointment, it had a nice fall. It fell back to support, but as more and more news began to come out about these new products and how they might possibly change the future, that then we began to see this reaction, this turnaround, this bull turnaround reaction, and this charge back up. I'm going to give you guys a price range on that though. So if we look at what the price range for Apple is right now, on the lower end, the only place where I'm going to tell you there's real support is down at 168, right? And we haven't been back there in a while. Now, alternatively, we have been up at the top, which is around 198. Now, we've hit that twice and failed and didn't break through. And really, we're just right in the middle of that range. And so, even though there's a buzz around these goggles, just like that CNBC interview, here's my concern. I was chatting about this with my son. And him and I are going back and forth about these. He's excited because I buy these expensive products and he gets to play with them as well. But he said, man, you know, the woman was talking about cooking. I think I cut that part out, but she was talking about cooking with these goggles on. And he's like, man, these are going to get nasty. They're going to get oil on them and they're going to get dirty. And he's like, you know, this is something that absolutely could have applications everywhere. But the most practical application that she admits is out there is just laying in bed on your back watching a movie. But a lot of people are going to try a lot of different things with them. I'm going to try to day trade in them. But at the end of the day, there's going to be issues. The human body is not designed to be walking around staring into a screen with inorganic light, with a heavy weight on your head. And Apple is changing the world, and this product likely will change the world. But there's going to be a lot of lessons learned, and some people are going to learn them with some serious eye problems, some serious neck problems. And people are going to push it to the point of imbalance, and then they're going to blame somebody else for it. But so the price range, like I said, 168 to 198 when we're right in the middle, and we're at resistance right now. It's already moved. So don't get excited about the Vision Pro goggles and just think, okay, it's time to buy. We're just in the middle of the price range. Doesn't mean that we won't go up and test 198. In addition to that, the time to have considered a long entry was back at 180. Now, I would really get excited about buying Apple this year anywhere around $168. I don't know that it's going to get back there, but that's where I'd be excited to go long again for the price run up on Apple that might happen in the future. Let me know, guys, were you buying the dip on Apple? All right, let's talk a little bit about Tesla. Now, Tesla, if you watched my last 2 Tesla videos, you guys know that I told you what I thought would happen. We came down really, really hard. We had an extremely oversold condition. We gapped down. And a lot of people asked me, Josh, should we buy now? Should I buy now? And I said, no. When you get a gap down or a gap up, give it some time. I said, we're likely going to bounce for 3 days, and then we're going to come back and test this 180. That's exactly what happened. We literally did exactly what I told you would happen with Tesla in the last video. And in that video, I told you guys that I set my stop loss to $174 and that I wanted to buy at $175 and that I was hoping that it would reverse. Now, guys, that's exactly what happened as well. It came down to $175.01. Again, technicals within a penny, right? And then it exploded upwards. Now, I had attempted some calls throughout the morning, some scalps. I was getting in and out of them too fast to even alert to the Discord. But when we got to 175, those stuck. And those, the last I checked, were up 60%. It's going to be a massive win day. Now, here's where we're at. This is my next prediction for Tesla, and I want everybody to, take note of it because the last one came 100% accurate. If this is going to remain bearish, right, it's going to close beneath $180. If it does, count Tesla as a $158 stock because that's where the ultimate end zone would be. However, over the next couple days, this week, if we manage to stay and close above 180, then it's not broken down. And one of the encouraging things for those who like Tesla and want to drive that Cybertruck with the Vision Pro goggles, that's how you picture your life, and you're a long investor in Tesla, it's all about staying and closing above 180. We can't close beneath 180. If we stay above 180, even if we dip below it but close back above it, we're fine. This is a great time to buy if 180 holds because we have the same conditions in the oversold RSI as we did when it was $101, which means it is just as good of a time to buy Tesla long if we stay above 180 as it was to buy Tesla long when it stayed above $101. Guys, it's a fact. Note it. Let's keep an eye on it this week and see what happens. Now, here's the big problem with Tesla, and here's why this stock got decimated to begin with. One, there are some slowdowns. There is the need to price in some changes and some loss of profit margin. Check, check, check. But another big factor is who's running the show and who's making these wins possible. In my last video, I played that clip from CNBC, and the fact is, it's Elon who's made these wins possible. He's the one that's put together the team that hit all the goals and accomplished the task. And you know what? If Tesla is going to become more than a car maker, which everybody says that it is, he has to stay at the helm, and he's got to make the robots work. He's got to take that to the next level, which I believe that he can, but he's got to get paid. And he was denied a $56 billion pay package that he earned, right? It would have been the biggest payday in history, apart from conquerors toppling nations. This guy was going to get his hands on the Tesla gold stash, but he got blocked, and it was political. The fact is, we had a Delaware judge, and we had a guy that owned only $2,000 of Tesla who actually had made massive profits on the $2,000 of Tesla that he had purchased back in the day. But the whole thing was staged, and it was meant to take a stab at Elon for his fight for free speech and all the other things that he's entangled in. There are people who want to see him quieted. And that's what this thing was about. They hit him where it hurt. They hit him in the pocketbook. Now, will be interesting to see what happens. But when this gets addressed, and there's been scrambling to get it addressed and move out of Delaware over into Texas, there's been some things that have been being discussed to change it so that Elon can get paid. And when this does get addressed, if Elon is back at the helm and he continues to take this company forward, then you know what? This is an incredible price point to buy. Now, I don't mean to start any controversy talking about politics. I would just tell you guys that I think that's the problem, right? And so let me know in the comment section, whether you think Elon has earned that payday and whether you're a buyer at this dip level today, because I think this is a $315 stock. I said it before. We get some things lined up and we're going to get back there. Those are my thoughts on Tesla. And boy, was that a beautiful candle on Tesla today with that dip down to 175 and that push back above 180. That's called a reversal candle, so we love it. All right, let's just talk about some crypto. If we go over to the crypto heat map, we see that crypto earlier in the morning was actually gray, but here later in the day, it's turning green. It's waking up. But a couple coins I wanted to point out to you, one of them is Link. I covered it in my last video. It was at $18.80. It pulled back to the low $18 range, and I told everybody, I said, guys, this thing will push up to $20, and what happened today? It's pushed up to $20, exactly as I predicted. When I went to go make this video, it was $19.80. I don't know if it's going to get that additional 20 cents, but we're within range of that $20 that I'm going to call this an absolute win. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to buy more. I'm going to sell a little bit, and I'm going to diversify some of those funds into some other crypto projects. And I'm also going to keep some just in cash. But I can tell you that I love Chainlink. I love the project. It solves a real problem. And even more important than that, than my opinion, is that Wall Street, smart money thinks it solves the problem. Smart money thinks they've got the leading edge in this particular area, and they're the ones putting big money behind it. And so I think this is going to continue to be a runner. It's only begun to wake up. Guys, I'm getting more excited about Ethereum. I'm getting more excited about a handful of my top 10 cryptos, but there are some that I've completely abandoned, that I've talked to you guys about in the past, that I'm not at all excited about. Matter of fact, I've sold my complete bag. Even though it's come up, I don't intend to buy more. And that is DOT and Algorand. And I know that it's going to be a huge disappointment to some of you guys to hear me say that I've turned my back on the Polkadot ecosystem, but there's problems. And what are the problems? The problems are leadership. Now, I'm not a Warren Buffett investor. He is the true fundamental investor. But I do take some of his values into my thinking and buying and my investing. And really what he does is he invests in companies, right? Products and people. Right? So really it's the products and the people that he invests in. And I don't like the CEO for Polkadot. The guy has been doing some really weird things, and he's been accused of doing even weirder things. Now, I'm not going to debase this guy, but I will share with you guys one thing that he wrote himself. He posted, right? This is companies. I'm going to make a point here about Polkadot and Solana. Just give me a minute here. So he posted this really weird story about having relations with an underage girl who was infected with AIDS. Now, he said later that it was not a real story, that it was fantasy. But, just to stop and pump our brakes, what the heck are you doing creating fantasy on such a subject line? The only fantasy I want out of my crypto CEOs is the fantasy of taking their blockchain to the moon, not this type of nonsense. And so because of leadership, I'm dismayed by the Polkadot ecosystem. It's run up. I'm not going to lose $1. Every single Polkadot I bought was beneath its current price. So selling out, being done with that ecosystem, putting my money elsewhere in a better system. Now, I know, like I said, some of you are going to be disappointed. Let me know in the comments section if you think I'm making a huge mistake. But let me contrast that story I just told you about Polkadot with Solana. I've got a good friend, right? He's actually a banker of mine. And I'm thinking of having him on the show, but he doesn't want to be undoxed because he's got some, he can't in his position be talking about securities. And he went to Amsterdam for the big Solana conference up there. And he basically he got a chance to sit down with the founder of Solana and have drinks. And he also spent some time with a lot of significant people in that entire ecosystem. And I asked him, I said, well, what did you guys talk about? What was the conversation? What was the guy like? And he said to me, he's like, that guy only wanted to talk about projects being built on the Solana ecosystem. Nothing personal. And it wasn't that he was being private. He just was obsessed with talking to people that had ideas about building on Solana. That's what I want. That's a perfect picture of the type of CEO. I want him, as the old saying goes, head down, butt up in the blockchain, thinking about it, growing my money. So I like the leadership of Solana, and I don't like the leadership of DOT. And now we've got Algorand. You say, okay, Josh, what's wrong with Algo? You once liked it. I did once like it. They had some opportunities ahead of them, but there are just no developers that are interested in developing on Algorand. And again, I know there are people out there who are going to be Algo lovers and going to say, that's not true, Josh, that's not true. Guys, they don't have interest in their system, and it's just slowly dying a slow death. They've got a sales team that goes out there and works with corporations and gets them to sign up to using or participating or putting their logo on their website, but they don't have any major projects being developed that interest me. Again, if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section what you think they're doing that would cause them to deserve to be in your top 10. But that's a bag that I dumped for better projects. I've told you in the past what I thought some of those better projects are. You got Solana, Quant, Near, ADA, Link, and ETH. ETH is one I'm becoming more excited about. And you're like, Josh, ETH, I haven't heard you talk about ETH in a while. I'm going to be talking about ETH next. You know what? Smart money loves ETH. And that's what I love. I love it when smart money loves a crypto project. And I'm seeing that this thing could absolutely explode and do have a much bigger run up than Bitcoin. That nobody's given up on ETH. And I'm going to be diving into that very soon here in the videos. Guys, click on the link and check out the Discord. That's the Stock Squad Patreon. That's where myself, Stockmo, Keenan Grace, and Stock Up with Larry Jones all share trade ideas, trade alerts, and just talk with you guys and answer questions and give you feedback on the stocks you're invested in. It's a great community. Come over and join it. A lot of positivity and a lot of learning, not just from the Stock Squad, but from some other great traders in there. It's well worth your time. Click on the link and check that out. And for those who need to get better trade tools right now, you're trying to pull it off with Robinhood and it's not quite working out, you don't have your stop losses in order, I want you to check out the Moomoo Investment app. This is great for people that are trying to accumulate some cash and get set up to invest in 2024. Because right now, they're going to give away for new accounts up to 15 free stock. That's right, up to 15 free stock. Plus, for all the cash you put in, they're going to let you earn an 8.1% interest. So you can just let it sit there and accumulate, and it's going to grow by 8.1%. Pretty nice. So check out the link for that one as well. Guys, we got more crypto, more big tech coming this week. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you for hitting the like. Thanks for saying hi and throwing a heart in the comment. I appreciate all the people that help me with the algorithm of YouTube. It all helps a great deal. The like is the most important thing. Hit the subscribe if you want to get those next videos. Peace and blessings, my friends. Take care.